Hey everyone, this is Hiroton Almighty 2011. Welcome back to more Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. In the last episode, we continued with plot, made our fishing rod pretty much useless, and we made it to this place called the Snowpeak Manor, well, Snowpeak Ruins, I'm a liar, and the first thing we encounter is a Poe, so that should be a good sign of things to come. Yeah, in this episode, we're tackling the 5th dungeon in the game, which, this dungeon's pretty... You know, I'm having a lot of times in this game where I'm having trouble attacking the Poes ever since the emulator, I don't know why. Anyway, this dungeon's pretty particular, which we're gonna see why as we go through that door coming up, as I stumble around for a bit. Like I said, every dungeon, from this point forward is just gonna be post-commentaries, and that's why I'm commentating over it now. I should address something now. If I sound different, it's actually because I'm recovering from a cold, so I apologize if I stumble about more often than I already do, and I'm a bit out of breath, because, frankly, I haven't uploaded this episode yet by the time I'm recording this, and, yeah, I didn't want to delay updates since I already have a consistent schedule, so pretty much, yeah, if I sound bad during these 2 episodes, I'm sorry, but I want to get these episodes out because I love you guys. Anyway, I completely talked over this woman. You cute little human. Husband took you in... Wow, I can't even read that. Okay, my husband found it, but pretty thing, huh? But since I get mirror, I get sick. Hey, just like me! And bad monsters appear. So many bad things happen since mirror. So we lock bedroom on 3rd floor where it hangs, huh? Wait, I tell you where key is. So, first off, this is pretty interesting since we're not getting the dungeon map off of a treasure chest. We're actually getting it from speaking to an NPC. So, as you can tell, the thing that's unique about this dungeon is the fact that even though, yes, there are monsters and everything, it pretty much is just a house. And what we need to do in this house is we need to find the piece of the mirror that they apparently have. So, there's a few other things, which we're first going to go over here, which... Another interesting thing about this place that I should point out... Well, actually, I'll point it out as we go in further. You! Wife look bad, huh? Not healthy since mirror. So I make soup for her. Fish from Zora Village are most nutritious, even though they smell like shit. You tired, huh? Have some. It give you energy. He's not exaggerating either, because this soup is actually counted as a potion. It's actually a pretty unique potion, too. Don't worry, you don't have to collect all of these soups to 100% the game, but I suggest you at least try it out once for completion's sake. You go back here, by the way, and we have Uku again. Phew! Free at last! Gracious, you're the nice fellow who helped me out the other day. You read all this before! Yeah, so, as you can tell, you get Uku pretty early, and, I think at this point in the game, and it's kind of early to say because I haven't recorded the other stuff yet, I don't really use Uku for the rest of the game at this point, so she's pretty much going to be useless in my inventory for a little while. In any case, if you remember before also where I said I'm going to keep the Ordon shield on for the rest of this place because there's absolutely no fire enemies, so we don't have to worry about it, I get to look cool with my favorite looking shield for the rest of this dungeon. Anyway, we come to the first no-no of this dungeon, block pushing puzzles. Yeah, here's the thing, block pushing puzzles plus ice physics. You have to attribute the fact that the block will go all the way to the back because of the ice physics, so you have to put that into consideration. Another thing, too, is that there are icicles, or at least, you know, more ice blocks, blocking your way, so consider them, pretty much into the puzzle when you're doing this. Ow. The first part of this puzzle is pretty easy. It gets a bit complicated later on, when we actually get the ability to break the ice, spoilers, but, all we have to do right now is activate this switch, so that's pretty simple. In any case, this is actually one of my favorite dungeons in the game, despite the block pushing puzzles. And I think I stumble around here because I think there's. I try to remember if there's a way to get up there, but I remember I can't get there, at least not yet. This dungeon's, like I said, it's unique for not only for the sense that, you know, it's a house, so it's not really meant to, you know, be a quote-unquote dungeon. It's just kind of monsters are showing up and everything because of the Mirror of Twilight. It's really just a house where someone used to live, which, by the way, an interesting theory is that the reason why Ashe was so fixated on this house, we're going to see as we go through this house that there are pictures of random places in Hyrule, a regal warrior pretty much, and a bunch of knight suits and armor, and they're the White Wolf Bolts, by the way, which they infinitely respawn here, so there really isn't much point in fighting them, so I don't know why I fight them here. I guess I just fight them here to get them out of my way, and by the way, what you have to do here is try to get that switch out of the snow by digging with Wolfling. So again, this is another dungeon where Wolfling kind of comes in handy, but you don't use him for the whole thing. Oh wait, no, we don't use the switch yet, it's just a treasure chest. In any case, so there's a fan speculation that this dungeon, quote-unquote, is actually Ashe's former home. Like, maybe her father passed away or something, and Yeto and Yetta moved in here, which, yeah, their names are Yeto and Yetta. Really clever. If you remember, by the way, those things from Ocarina of Time that froze you, which I'll put on screen right now, these are tiny versions of them, which I don't know the name of them. I don't think they have a name. I'm not sure. Well, I can actually pull up the wiki right now just to check, but, in any case, remember how I said everything in this game looks friggin' terrifying? Yeah, the Freezards in this game look really terrifying also. Oh, they're just called mini Freezards according to the wiki. Okay, my bad. So, in any case, again, the one good thing about post-commentary is that I can just keep the internet on and look at stuff so I don't have to keep correcting myself later. They're kind of annoying to fight right now just because when you whack them, they're like bumper cars. But we're approaching the, where the treasure chest is, and it seems pretty simple so far. If this is the boss key already, then I guess we just have a long way to go afterwards. But this is a bit too easy, don't you think? If you see me preparing my bomb arrows, there's a reason. The moment you walk up to this door, these things are new enemies called Chilpos. Chilpos pretty much suck. I took them out easily there, because just like the Stalfos, they can be taken down with bomb arrows, or at least bombs, but it takes 2 hits, because first, and by the way, I'll be quiet now, because this is actually really funny. Here's another gimmick of the dungeon. Because Yetta is sick, she's gonna keep getting the, location of the bedroom key wrong. So we find a pumpkin first, pretty much, instead of the item that we actually need. And yeah, there's a picture of Arbor's grounds there, by the way. So what I was saying about Chilphos, they go down with 2 bombs just because it, at first they stagger and then you have to hit them right away, otherwise they'll get back their health. They suck fighting one-on-one, so I really don't recommend it. They do go down in 1 hit later when you have it, this dungeon's item, pretty much. So, the first thing we need to do, now that we have the pumpkin, we have to go back to Yetta and see if she can remember where the location actually is, because you kind of can't do jack shit with a pumpkin right now. And yeah, it's not Halloween anymore, it's November, so we definitely can't do anything with the pumpkin. There is something interesting I'm going to note out about the enemies here, but I'm going to wait till we do this. So, another thing, too, which, now that we have fruit, not fruit, are pumpkins fruit? I don't know. Anyway, because we have a pumpkin, Yeto forcefully pushes us down, and he's going to add it to a soup. Every time you find a food item in this dungeon, he adds it to the soup. And the soup eventually becomes better and restores more energy. The first time I played this game, funny enough, I actually ended up using all 3 soups just because I lost that much health. But now, instead of the simple soup, we now have the good soup, which it smells like pumpkins, and I don't know what pumpkin is supposed to smell like. I guess it's supposed to be like pumpkin loaf or the pumpkin donuts that they had last month. In any case, so now we'll store 4 hearts instead of 2 hearts. We go over to Yetta again, see if she can actually remember this time. You find it, huh? What? Pumpkin? But why there? No good, huh? Where I leave it? Ah, maybe in that room. Go to room marked by symbol. Ah, the room at the very end of the dungeon. That seems very suspicious. Okay, so something I need to point out. It's not just cosmetic. Well, not cosmetic. It's not just a gimmick that every time you find a food item in this dungeon, you have to give it back to Yeto. Something about the enemies in this dungeon, they do not drop hearts whatsoever. If you want to heal at all during this dungeon, you have to keep going back to get some more soup from Yeto. That's actually something important for later at the end of the dungeon, but I won't bring that up just yet because it's not relevant. So, up ahead, which my wolf sense is kind of obscuring it, this thing right here, that's a Freezard. I'll put on screen right now what it's supposed to look like. But yeah, these, again, everything in Twilight Princess is freaking terrifying when you make them look realistic. So, I'm going to stumble about here for a little bit, just because it's been a while since I played this game, and I can't really do dungeons all in one go. By the way, I have to apologize for the last dungeon, well, the Arbiter's Grounds, when I did post-commentary, because I kept mentioning that the video was stuttering, and I kept apologizing for it. I realized that when I uploaded it to YouTube, or at least when I looked back at the footage in Sony Vegas, the video wasn't really stuttering. For some reason, something that my media player does, when I look back at like raw footage or like my capture and everything, because I'm recording off of Dazzle, and by the way, the gimmick here is cannons. You find a cannonball somewhere, place a bomb inside of it, and that's gonna blow up the ice for the time being. And this is the only way you're getting rid of these ice blocks for now. Anyway, when I look back at my footage in my media file, and well, my media player, and because it's recorded off my Dazzle with Pinnacle Studio and everything, because I can't afford a Hop Hog right now, or an Elgato. Like, I will get one, and a better mic and everything, but right now I really don't have the expenses. But the weird thing it does is that the Dazzle and Pinnacle are only able to record in 30 frames per second, and I can tell the difference, you know, when I now that I've recorded off my laptop, so I can look at the TV and play the game, so there's no input lag and everything when I used to play this game. But the weird thing is, when I look back at the footage on the media player like I'm doing right now, for some reason, even though the footage is in 30 frames per second, the computer tries to convert it back to 60. And that's why a lot of the times when I look back at the footage, by the way, you can just kind of boop them off with your claw shot, which is really funny, and Geese. When I look back at the footage, yeah, for some reason my computer tries to convert it back to 60 frames, and it makes the video stutter, so I apologize for constantly mentioning, oh, I'm sorry for the video stuttering and everything, because you guys don't see the video stuttering since it's only 30 frames for you, but for me, it's like trying to be 60 when it's not. And it looks like everything has like an after image. In any case, a fun fact about this room, this is pretty much like kind of like an ice physics room, because you see those white sections, you instantly like fall off because you have no momentum, so you have to jump across these sections and everything. In the Wii version, I messed up here so much because I've mentioned this before in the LP, but in the Wii version, a lot of the times, the fact that the game was mirrored really, really tripped me up, just because I have muscle memory with a lot of stages, because I've played Twilight Princess more times than I can count. I think the number of times I've actually beaten it's like exactly 20, and I've 100%ed it, I think, like 5 times. when I play, I've only ever beaten the Wii version once, and it wasn't 100%. I just ended up downloading an 100% save file just because my, for two reasons. One, because I didn't want to go back through the game again, and I clipped through that cannonball. One, I didn't want to go through the game again, and two, because I didn't want to. My original Wii crashed. Well, not crashed, but it essentially died. It would stop. It wasn't reading games anymore, and because I hacked that Wii, I couldn't send it into Nintendo to fix it, and I didn't want to fix. I didn't know how to fix it myself at the time, so I ended up just buying another Wii. But I didn't get to transfer my save data, so you know, bye Twilight Princess. So I just ended up downloading a 100% save file, and that's also the save file I'm going to show off for the bonus videos. But yeah, I'm going around here again because it seems like I missed an item, and I really didn't. And I know it's like really weird and everything, but like we do pretty much get every item in this dungeon, at least the important ones. The only ones we don't get are rupees because we pretty much are maxed out, or at least we're decent on rupees by the time that we finish this dungeon. So, oh yeah, and the now that we have the compass, it will also tell you the location. I clipped through it again. It'll also tell you the location of all the cannonballs in the dungeon. So, now that we have a cannonball, we have to we can break that freeze art and get through that door. Something I should mention too is that in this dungeon specifically, and oh, there's the switch/trash chest. Ow, rude. Sorry again. I'm getting short of breath. Like I know I said, like, I put on Twitter and everything that I wanted like an extra day to recover my voice and everything, just because I caught my cold luckily like right away, so the worst of it already passed. But you know, now my throat was still somewhat sore the other day, and I have a stuffy nose today. Again, I don't know if you guys can hear it in my commentary, but yeah, if I sound different, that's why. We can't go up that ladder yet, by the way, because there's a freeze art at the top, and he's gonna destroy you if you do. This thing right here, another gimmick, you can transfer cannonballs from room to room by doing this. Something that I forgot to acknowledge in the other room, by the way, when I was checking for treasure chests that I missed. I was also testing out the whole thing, how, like, most Nintendo games, mostly Zelda and Metroid Prime, it follows the two-room rule. How the two rooms that are loaded in the game are the room you're currently in and the room you're about to be in. But then afterwards, if you go into another room, it unloads the room that you were at before. So yeah, I used a bomb to get more bombs. So pretty much, what I was showing off there is that the enemies respawn because the room unloaded and loaded up again. And that's the only time that happens in the game. Kingdom Hearts kind of follows this, Kingdom Hearts and most open-end RPGs also follow this rule as well. It's just, I think Kingdom Hearts Final Mix is the only one that has that ability where it's like, it takes that off and makes it so that enemies will always respawn. By the way, every time you defeat a Freezard, at least 4 mini Freezards will ever come out. Actually, if you look at the number of eyes that the Freezards have, you can actually tell how many mini Freezards are going to come out of it. So, now that we had that door transition, you can probably guess what's happening. There's a mini boss in here. Here's the thing. Everything looks completely normal until you get up there and wow, Link's model was glitching. So, everything looked completely normal in this room. Where the hell did this thing come from? Because that thing was able to disguise itself so well. In any case, this thing is called Dark Hammer. I don't really know why it's called that. It's probably like a translation error or something. As you could tell, its main weapon is a ball and chain. This used to be one of the hardest bosses in Twilight Princess just because it hits really hard. You're going to lose at least 4 hearts of damage if you get hit by that ball and chain. However, it's really easy if you avoid it because all you have to do is keep attacking its tail like this, and if you, like me, you can get it in one cycle. That was actually my first time doing that on screen, by the way, because normally it takes me at least 2 or 3 cycles to actually get him because he has some invincibility frames afterwards. This is also the first case of Link gets a dungeon item by actually taking it off the enemy. And this weapon wouldn't come back until Hyrule Warriors, where the ultimate version of it is a chain chomp, which I really, really love. Well, the chain chomp and the power glove, pretty much. Anyway, this thing is the ball and chain. Now we essentially have an item that does quadruple damage. It's the strongest item in the game. And we can break ice blocks now. The only downside is, because it's so heavy, Link basically walks like a tank. Like, he walks... Remember when I mentioned that when you have the magic armor and you put iron boots on, you walk 4 times as slow? Yeah, that's essentially what happens when you have the ball and chain out. Anyway, yeah, still no boss key. Instead, we have goat cheese. Ah, food again? Yeah, I had a bad feeling about this. She didn't seem very sure of herself. Oh well, let's head back and hope she has some other brilliant idea. So, now all we have to do is head back, but this is the current cutaway point for the next episode of the LP, so I will see you guys next time for the second part of this dungeon.